Good morning, folks. So, I want to go over a couple things that, as a chicken owner, and for those of you who are looking at building a chicken coop, and some of the things that you need to be aware of. This is a time of year when most chickens molt, which means that your egg count is going to drop significantly. But some of the things that you need to add to your chicken's feed this time of the year is you need to increase their protein, right? A good way to do this is to get like mealworms, soldier worms, something of that nature. But this is also the time of year when chickens, just like people, can get sick. So you also want to add a good liquid vitamin and your poultry booster, right? This gives them extra vitamins, extra protein for feather growth. Because what you'll notice, and I'm going to take you out here to the chicken coop in just a minute, what you'll notice is you'll notice more feathers around in your chicken coop. This means they're molting, which means that they will not lay eggs when they're molting, and it puts a lot of stress on the chicken's body. So you want to feed them a very high protein content feed, and you want to give them high protein and vitamins to help with feather development and to help. And you're going to be feeding them this all winter long, because the insects that they would normally get flying into the chicken coop or crawling around on the ground at the chicken coop are not going to be available. So their protein content is going to drop significantly. Now, I also add to my high protein scratch, I also add oyster shell and scratch, right? So I have oyster shell and scratch here that I add to every scoop of food that I give them. Okay? So I'm drinking my coffee. And we're going to go out here. If I can do this all one-handed. So it is kind of cool this morning. It's not cold here yet, but you can definitely see the leaves are all falling off the trees. So let's go out to the chicken coop. And I'm sorry if this is bouncing around. I know some people don't like this. Now, one of the things that you want to do when you select an area for your chicken coop is you want to look at, is it out of the wind and the weather, right? And since here in the Outer Banks, we tend to get wind from every direction, I tried to do a couple strategic things, and I'm just going to go over this very quickly because I'm sure most of you probably have not thought of this. My shed acts as a windbreak along this side. On this side, I have very limited opening for wind to come in, and I have a roof over top of my egg box, which allows, for any rain or snow is not going to sit right on top of the egg box, and so that's going to keep it from being damaged. You also notice I keep a stick to keep the door tightly closed, because this is a time of year when predators are looking to eat your chickens. So this is snakes, this is squirrels, this is possums, this is raccoons, this is just about every fucking thing, okay? Now, one of the things I used on this side is a natural windbreak of blackberry and raspberry. And as you see, It's gone gung-ho, right? So it's growing all the way up the side of the chicken coop, which is what I wanted it to do. Now, on the back side, my fence line pretty much cuts most of the wind this way, but my grandmama tree, right? As you can see, it comes down and it kind of gives it some protection from the cold. Now, every year I have to cut these branches back, otherwise it'll bust up my fencing. So, as you noticed, I'm going over this very quickly. I'm just giving you ideas for you to think about. But if you look at my chicken coop, you will see there are feathers everywhere. And my chickens are very fat and happy. But as you can see, one of them has no tail feathers right now because she's done plucked them all out. So new tail feathers will grow. And this is what you will see. They look pathetic, really. Another thing I do in the winter is, you've noticed I have changed to a heated water source. So basically what this is it's the bottom is a heated thing that keeps the water from freezing. That's all it does. It keeps it above 33 degrees. It doesn't put a lot of heat there, but it does keep it above freezing. Now, one thing you'll also notice when you have a chicken coop is you have to be out here daily and doing maintenance. Chickens like to dig, and they love to dig along the edge of the chicken coop. And they will literally dig themselves a hole and dig out if you're not paying attention to them. So you need to be aware of that. So one of the things you want to take into account, if you're in a very cold area, you want to put it in an area of your land where the chicken coop is slightly protected, i.e. from wind, i.e. from snow. If you have a lot of snow, you obviously want to reinforce the roofing, and you want to slope it more than what I've got mine sloped, so that snow will naturally fall off. What I have here in my area is a lot of snakes, rats, possums, and raccoons. I also have a lot of hawks. So there's a lot of hawks here. So one of the things you want to do is you want to seal the roofing. Okay, let's go in here. And I have a little gadget here that keeps the snakes out of the door. And it's just little things that you do, right? But you're always thinking of your chickens. Okay, ladies. Okay. So one of the other things I did on my chicken coop, as you can see, I've took the piece of wood that was down here. It's where I store it, is on the side of the chicken coop, to cover up almost all of the venting. Now, you want a vent in your chicken coop, especially if you're in hot weather. You need that venting, okay? And that venting is to allow for air to flow, for air to flow, just like you would vent a shed. It allows for air to flow through the chicken coop so that your wood and your coop doesn't rot, okay? But the roofing here, I do not have a lot of support here because we do not get a lot of snow, obviously. But you want to make sure on your roofing that it's sturdy enough, if you're in a cold area, to support snow weight. Duke, shush. To support snow weight. Shush. Go. And I'm sorry for the dog, folks. There's no way I can shut him up. He loves to bark at my chickens. But as you can see, they love to dig down right on the corners of the shed and right along the edges. And they will literally dig themselves out. So this is a weekly thing that I have to come in here. I have to re-level the ground out. I have to make sure that their area underneath the coop, which I make for their dust bath, I have to clean that out and put new DE down. Every month I have to go in, as I'm going to have to do this weekend. I don't know if you can see, but their chicken coop is a little nasty right now and needs to be cleaned out. So, one of the things when you clean your chicken coop out is you do not use hay. Do not use hay with your chickens. Reason for this is hay has lice and bugs in it. I don't care what hay you buy, it's going to have it in there. That is very bad for the chicken's feathers. So you want to use something that does not occur in, and one of the cheapest way to go for that is to use pine shavings. And that's what I use. I use pine shavings completely in this entire coop. I never use hay here. They always get pine shavings. As you can see, they also have one of the chicken blocks so that they can eat this anytime they want. That stays there. You know, they'll eat on it for a month or more. I mean, I just leave it there, and they take whatever they want from it. But this is also the time of year you notice all the leaves. So one of the things you can do is you can compost these leaves back down into your ground, right? Just by running a lawnmower over it, and I do that quite a bit. But you can also take the leaves and put it on top of your plants, right? Like I have strawberry plants in here, and I have my herbs here, and they're dying back, obviously, because of the cold weather. But you can take the leaves and use those as a compost. Another thing you can do is you can burn them and take the ash from them and add them to your beds. Now, every year I buy more compost and add it to my beds. Like this one's getting kind of low. I'm going to have to add some to this one. So you want to do this. This is also the time of year that if you have fruit trees, you want to make sure that your fruit trees are mulched up. That means you put mulch around the bottom of your fruit trees. You clean out any of the weeds that are there, and you give them the fruit tree mix. It's a powder mix that you can buy online, and you add that to them. This helps them in the spring. It helps them come up faster, right? And they do that very well, right? Now this older tree, I really don't have to do much for this older tree. She pretty much is good to go. I will do some small mulching around her and a little bit of the fruit tree mix. But the younger trees, right? The younger trees here, they need a little bit more, right? So you gotta consider what kind of tree you have and what you want to do. This is also the time of year where I'm going to be cutting this back, right? So all of this has got to be cut back. It's an ongoing thing on your homestead that you're looking at. Now, I told you I never plant garlic. All of this right here, all of this is garlic. That's all garlic. And I just let it go, right? And as you can see, I have tomato plants that came up inside the garlic, which they didn't really produce anything, but okay, right? I have elderberry that's trying to grow everywhere, right? So I'll have to cut all that back too. But this is what we're looking at. It's a steady thing when you run a homestead. But my focus today is on the chicken coop. This chicken coop has been standing. This will be the 6th winter. So I think it's the 6th winter. You can go back in my videos and you can see how I built it. So you want to, when you build something, you want to take the time to build it correctly. That way you never have to fuck with it again, right? And that's just build it once and done, right? That's just the way you should be thinking. So you should be taking into consideration the placement of it. Is it far enough away from dwellings that you're not going to get the smell? Because trust me, chicken coops can put off a good amount of smell. Is it close enough that you're not going to get the bigger predators such as bears, coyotes, wolves coming in to take your animals? Mostly what you have to really worry about with chickens is rats, mice, and snakes. They will kill a chicken. Raccoons are also a big issue. Raccoons will come in and they literally will not eat the chicken. They will just bite their heads off. They just like to do that. Okay. So you have to think of that when you're placing your chicken coop. Yeah, that's some of the things that I thought about when I put my chicken coop here. I also thought about, is it far enough away from the fence line that it's not going to bother my neighbors? It's also far enough away from the house that there's plenty of room if I was to have like a barbecue or something out here, that I still got plenty of room for that. So you have to look at your land and determine, is this a good area to put the chicken coop? Sometimes it's not. And much like a house, a chicken coop can be put anywhere. It can be put on sloped land. But if you put your chicken coop on sloped land, understand that you're still going to need to have the roof fairly level. So it's going to take you a little bit more to build it. This was a simple build, and it took me 3 weekends to build it. Very simple build. And if this is your first chicken coop, I would suggest that you go as simple as you can. Just try and see, okay, you live in your area, I don't. If you have mild winters, then you probably want more ventilation for your birds for the higher temperatures in summer. If you have very cold winters, then you want more insulation, and you need to actually insulate the chicken coop itself, where the chickens go in and out. You need to actually insulate that, to the point that you also need to think about, do I need to totally lock them in at night just to keep the heat in the chicken coop? You need to think of all these things before you even put one nail to a board. Or in my case, I use screws. But before you even think about even digging down your trenches for your chicken coop, you need to take into consideration, where am I putting it? Why am I putting it here? What kind of temperatures are we looking at through the year? What's the high temperature? What's the likely low temperature? How can I mitigate that for the chickens, right? Um, I've seen some chicken coops that are absolutely horrendous for the chickens, right? You also need to think about space. Each hen requires a 2 foot by 4 foot space for them to nest in. Now you can cut that down a little bit depending on what breed of chickens you have and whether or not you have a very large run. But they definitely need that space, okay? And my little chicken coop that I got here for my 6 hens, I could probably add 3 more hens and then it would be packed full. And for 6 hens is comfortable. Any more hens, it would be starting to get slightly claustrophobic to them. And yeah, they don't do good when they're packed tight like sardines. They need to have room. And you need to think of that when you build your chicken coop. Anyway, that's what I have for you today, and I hope some of this was helpful. Obviously, I build my chicken coop off the ground because I'm in very hot weather in the summer, so I want that air to flow under the chicken coop and cool the floor. But if you're in very cold climates, if you do build it off the ground, you definitely have to insulate underneath. And you need to think of that, right? I laminate it inside my chicken coop, so when I pull all the pine shavings out, all I got to do is take a water hose and spray it down and scrub it down, and it takes maybe 30 minutes, and it's clean. So that's a good idea if you've never thought of doing that. But if you're in very cold climate, you definitely need to insulate it just like you would insulate a shed, right? Put the insulation in, put walls in, etc., etc., etc. You also need to think about perches, right? I have 3 perches in my chicken coop, and they use them alternatively, right? So just small little thoughts can make your life so much easier. Like I said, once a week I got to come in here, I got to clean it and straighten out the ground, and I've got to do, every day, of course, I'm checking to make sure they've got fresh water, they got fresh feed. But yeah, I mean, fairly simple, fairly easy animal to keep. It's just you have to be aware of some of the drawbacks to having chickens. And one of them is everything wants to eat a chicken just like you do. I mean, everything wants to eat your chickens. And so you need to think about that when you build your chicken coop. I recommend that you get the hardware cloth for the sides of your chicken coop. And I recommend putting tin on the top for your chicken coop. This protects them from hawks, right? It's up to you how you build your chicken coop, but there you go. That's my chicken coop. That's how I built it. And yeah, I ran the hardware cloth down in the ground a foot and then out about 6 inches. This was to keep things from crawling under and in, such as snakes. I also put retaining block all the way around my chicken coop. So all the way around my chicken coop is retaining block. This is to also give an extra layer of protection against something breaking into the coop. This is a definite thing that you have to worry about when you have chickens. And I live in the suburbs, and I still have to worry about that. So if you're out in the country, you definitely have to worry about that, right? All right, well, bicycle. Hope y'all have a blessed day.